We don't have this in the deen. That's what happens in the name of some of these people in the jama'ah. I cannot generalize, say everyone. Some of the people in jama'at, tabligh may be better and more knowledgeable than others. We appreciate the effort of da'wah. But the da'wah has methods that Allah stipulated. قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ أَنَا وَمَنِ اتَّبَعَنِي. Say, this is my way, I call to Allah upon knowledge, insight, I and those who follow me. Did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ have these designations of days and times and manners and methods? No, they didn't. So, even though we appreciate any Muslim who gives da'wah and has concern for the da'wah, and we ask Allah to forgive our shortcomings and theirs, still we don't follow these ways. This is one element of the problem. The other element is the fact that there's a jama'ah. Is it okay to have a jama'ah? Is it okay for you to establish a jama'ah and have a name for it and have followers, even though Islam prohibited us from dividing the ummah into jama'at and ahzab? It's not allowed in Islam. We're supposed to be a single jama'ah. It will not be the case, but we're supposed to be a single jama'ah, and that's what we strive for. Once we come across people that want to divide the ummah, then this is a problem. So we shouldn't have these jama'at. It should be one deen. Quran, Sunnah, according to the understanding of the Salaf al-Salih. That's it. There's no other way of interpreting Islam. And there's no other way of the saved, sect. This is the way that the Ta'if al-Mansura of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and the Sahaba and the Tabi'een, and we follow them strictly to the best of our ability. They did not have a Jama'at Tabligh back then, so we don't have Jama'at Tabligh today. So I hope that, but there's more to it. Again, we're trying to be fair, we elect anyone who gives da'wah, jazahumullahu khairan, but you have to learn the deen first. The da'wah is for tawheed al-uluhiyyah, worshipping Allah alone, and the names and attributes of Allah, not only rububiyyah. The Qurayshis believed in Allah's rububiyyah. And the deen is not only salah. The deen begins with tawheed, knowing Allah, loving Allah. You cannot do so unless you know who Allah is. I've been with the jama'at. I've gone out with them personally. So I'm speaking from experience. These issues I never heard. The issues of the tawheed of Allah's names and attributes, I never heard the aqeedah of Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah. Rather, I had debates with them concerning another aqeedah of Asha'ira and Mu'tazila, denying Allah's names and attributes, which is a big problem. And you cannot be an Ash'ari given da'wah to the Quran and the Sunnah. And you have to be Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah before you give da'wah to the Quran and the Sunnah. And the majority of them, at least in non-Arabs, I'm speaking about the non-Arabs because I cannot judge the ones here, I don't know them. But the ones I came across from other countries, they were major issues in Aqidah. Fair enough? And once you have an issue with the Aqidah, then you can't move on. Then you cannot move on. It's a very delicate matter. And we've even had some of our brothers here, we've had some discussions with them. This is something known. This is something known. May Allah guide us and guide them. We wish him good, wallah. Like every Muslim, but the deen of Allah is more valuable and precious to us. So we, try to follow it strictly. Is it important for women to cover their head while reciting Quran and listening to adhan? No, it is not. There isn't an evidence that suggests that a woman has to cover her hair when reading the Quran. Yes, you have to cover your hair and more than that in the salah, but not while reading the Quran. Not while reading the Quran. And whoever says otherwise, as we said earlier, قُلْ هَاتُوا بُرْهَانَكُمْ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. So give me the evidence. Once they give you a sahih evidence that the Prophet ﷺ said, do not recite the Quran while bareheaded or something along these lines, then all the women have to practice it. But there's no such thing. And this is known among the ulama. Same thing with listening to the adhan. And can you imagine, the deen of Allah, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. Allah wants ease for you. Imagine, every time the muaddin calls the adhan, the sister has to run and put on a hijab. She has, guests over. Say, oh, excuse me, say Allahu Akbar. What happens, sister? But I'm supposed to cover my head while they call in the adhan. What do you have to do with the adhan? Let them call the adhan. You could have your head covered or uncovered. You could do whatever you want. There's no complication in Islam like this. These are cultural things, People want to be super religious. And we wish they would be super religious in the sunnah. They want to be super religious and be innovation. Which reminds me, next week is the lecture about innovations. And you must come, inshallah. Because this is a topic that is very much needed, so we can identify what is bid'ah, how to deal with it, and how to react to it, and how to invite people who are involved in it. Inshallah, the next week lecture, same time, same place, will be strictly about innovations. Everyone is invited to come. I think we should go home by now. No? I guess not.
What's the ruling about the covering head for women in front of father and brothers?
In front of other brothers? What do you think the ruling is?
I heard this. It's
Covering the hair?
no, just covering the head.
The head? No one says it's not a wajib. I don't know of any alim who says it's not a wajib to cover the head in front of strange men. You mean the face?
He's saying in front of her brother and parents.
Her brother and the family? La ya Shaykh. La ya Shaykh. No. Allah mentioned specifically who are the people you're supposed to. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنْ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. Then Allah continued, then He mentioned who are the people that she's supposed to cover from and who are the ones that are lawful for her. SubhanAllah, we cannot complicate the deen. Her brother is her brother. Yes, the Muslim woman always maintains a level of modesty. She doesn't wear something, silly, that is very seductive, even among her maharim. So they say, the ulama say, what is allowed is from her, maybe her forearm or her arm here, the muscle, I guess the biceps, and down, and what appears from the feet, and what appears from the top of the chest. And of course the hair, ears, fine, it's fine. But anything beyond that, it should be covered, out of modesty. Right? But to say that she has to wear a hijab, no.
No, I'm not asking about the hijab, but just as a formality that we are in front of your brothers or in front of the father, there should be some conditional position you have to adopt.
Yeah, but see, no woman can be better than the sahabiyat. Did the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, did the sahabiyat do so in the presence of their fathers and their brothers? If they didn't do so, then we can never find a woman more righteous than them. You see what I'm saying? If they found some reference for that, and they want to be extra careful based on the actions of some of the sahabiyat and the women before, barakallah fihun. But if they don't have such an evidence, that's tanattu'. That's extremes, ghulu. And it's not allowed in Islam. You keep it simple as Allah made it simple.
Yeah, I understand, but just asking the ruling.
Oh no, I don't know.
Because many people, they have confusion on this.
Yes, of course. Barakallah fiqh. Jazakallah khair.
Women in front of women, hijab.
Same thing. Modesty is always required, but she doesn't have to wear hijab. Concerning non-Muslim women, some of the ulama say that in front of non-Muslim women, a sister should observe hijab. And some of them say the non-Muslim women are just like the Muslim women in this area. But there's a level of modesty that a Muslim woman should never, compromise. Wearing things which are not befitting should always be avoided in any situation. But there's no extreme. Don't cover yourself in front of a woman like you cover yourself in front of a strange man. They're not the same. She's from your own, gender. So Allah made these things flexible. So if you wish to wear something modest, then jazakillahu khairan. But to say you have to wear hijab and everything, no. No one will say that. نعم. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.